make sure everything goes smoothly on that. After the game, the shuttle will leave the stadium beginning the first one 30 minutes after the game ends, and then every about 30 minutes after that, and we'll rotate throughout the evening. Okay? So we have him there? Okay? All right. We're going to bring up Coach Paterno here and ask him to say a couple words and then open it up to questions. A couple of comments and then we'll open up.
I have no comments. I have no plans to retire, all right? Can we get that one out of the way and then I can get on with something positive?
Question?
I owe you, Joe. Go ahead. Yeah, okay.
I appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Florida sometimes puts their three quarterbacks on the field at the same time. What kind of challenges does that present for you in preparing and actually in the game?
Well, it gives you a lot of concerns, and you spend a lot of time trying to line up properly. I have said this a couple of times this week. I think Urban Meyer has been one of the innovative coaches in the last 25 years I've seen, and I've studied a lot of Florida tapes through the last 6-7 years to see what kind of pattern he can. So I don't really know what to expect, to be frank with you. I think he's gonna, this is the last ball game with these kids, and he's got three quarterbacks, all of whom do different things. One's maybe a little better runner than the other one, etc. So I don't know what to expect, but you're absolutely right. He has played three in the game at times. We just got to line up properly and hustle, and so hopefully we can come off some blocks, and we can got enough speed to keep them somewhat contained. We're not going to get them. They're a little too quick for us.
Joe, who's going to handle the punting? Is Farrah punting again, or is it Bud, or what?
Well, Farrah is still having a little problems with that, with infection of that appendicitis. He's kicked a little bit this week, and I've been prodding him and Larry Johnson as to whether we ought to try to get him ready. In fact, we're going over to the stadium to get a picture taken today, and I may have Farrah punt a couple just to see if he'd be ready. But right now we're not planning on running.
Is that a long time to come back from appendicitis, or is it more severe than you?
I don't know. We've had a young kid gets a knee operation, he's got gout. I'm not going to get into names of people, but I've never had gout on gout in the knee for a 19-year-old kid. Yeah, money. I don't know whether we're sneaking some stuff in the training room or what. But I mean, we've got all those good appendicitis. We don't have the Ricketts kid with us. He's had to keep him home because he had an infection in the back of his throat, and they're going to have to operate in order to clean it up. There were some things that have happened this year that have never happened before, physically. And we've got about 10 or 11 guys that aren't going to play, that haven't played all year. So it isn't a question if it's a big news story, but we've had our problems out with it. So is Florida, fine, but Urban's lost a couple of really good kids.
Coach, following up on your first question, do you expect this to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game?
I'm not one of those guys. It depends. It depends on whether somebody drops the ball in different spots, turnovers, and the whole done. I don't know. Yeah, the kicking game is the hidden element that nobody really watches, and turnovers. We're playing a pretty good game against Ohio State. We threw the ball to them twice, 2 touchdowns. 2 interceptions. Turns the whole football game around. We're playing Northwestern. Northwestern's beating us. We get a little careless on a punt. We got the punt score on it. On the win. So I'm very reluctant to make predictions that way. I just hope, which I think will happen, I think you're going to see two teams tomorrow playing really hard. Hopefully they'll, it'll be the kind of game people can enjoy, whether it's close or whether it's high scoring, or I don't know. I really don't.
Joe, how are Crawford and Marty, and having them at near full strength or full strength, what would that mean for your defense?
Well, Marty's got to beat out to play. Obviously, it's going to be hot. The more guys we have ready to play, and that worries me a little bit, the heat. It's supposed to be. I'm not sure whether the forecasters down here are any more honest than the ones up there. But it's supposed to be in the 70s tomorrow, the last one I got yesterday. So if it's that hot, obviously we're going to have to play some people, particularly at the pace that Florida may give us on offense. Florida will move it. I mean, they're in and out, and they're not going to be hanging around, waiting for us to line up and all those kinds of things. So I would think those kids have to play. I wish Marty had a little bit more work, but that's what it is.
How do you feel practices have gone down here? Do you feel you're...
Okay. I think we've practiced pretty well. We were down at Clearwater, got 7 practices in down there on the beach, and then we went up here for the game week. We started on Monday, which would be Monday of the game week. And I think we're ready. Whether we're good enough, we'll find out.
Joe, you described Urban Meyer as an innovator. I wonder, do those things come in cycles, you think, in terms of innovations, or is there something truly unique that Urban's done that's changed the game?
Well, I think you got to ask Urban some of those questions. My feeling is, and I've told Urban this, and I've told a lot of other people, I hate to see college coaching lose a man like Urban Meyer. He's got a lot of class, a lot of poise, good. He's got a lovely family, and he's done a great job down there. He's won 2 national championships in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, and he's done it in a class way, and I hate to see him go. But what he wants to do is, who am I to judge? I'm not going to do that. I just think you ought to ask Urban that question. He's going to be here a little later, I think, this morning. But he's a heck of a guy, and I like him very much personally, and admire him very much, the kind of coach he is.
He's also been known as a great motivator. I wonder, have you had to change your motivational tactics with your players since you started coaching? Do different things motivate players now than they did when you started?
I think you're always changing. You're always looking at your squad. This squad's a lot different than last night. We had some of our old players came over, guys like Sean Farrell and guys that are great football players. Sean Farrell was a first-round draft pick as an offensive lineman, and he was on the same team that Wisniewski's father was on, and his uncle was on a little bit later at Penn State. So each team's a little different, and that's one of the biggest problems you have in coaching, is to make sure you push the right buttons. I mean, you can't ask kids to do something they're not ready to do when you start talking about motivation. Go run through the wall. Maybe. I used to tell a story about the difference between Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell. They both came out together, and the pros used to come around and say, "What's the difference between Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell?" I said, "They're both great backs." I said, "Absolutely great backs." But I said, if I told Lydell Mitchell to run through that wall, he'd run through that wall. I said, if I told Franco Harris to run through that wall, he'd go over in the field. Where's the source? So that's the motivation. What was I going to do with it? Franco found the source, but I didn't know what to do with it.
Joe, some people around Urban Meyer have said, and he hasn't said it, that he was being pressured to make some changes on his staff, which is not the kind of thing you have been used to have happen to you. But of course, it was the Bobby Bowden situation where he was pretty much forced out. Do you think there's a difference in football in the South where it's taken really seriously down here, and people can get a little bent out of shape a little quicker and try to make.
Well, I think you're seeing the same thing up our way. Pasqualoni was let go at Syracuse after he'd done a heck of a job, and coach of Minnesota was let go in the middle of the season.
Yeah, but these guys have won
Just got
national
West,
titles.
I don't know whether you consider West Virginia the deep south or not, but they're doing the same thing at the coach of West Virginia. I think it's just, it's a national trend. And I quoted a couple of people, I said, hey, you know, we got to bring back Ben Schwartzwald. Ben used to say an athletic director could fire one football coach. He fires the second one, he gets fired. I mean, we've got a lot of people, I guess, that are under a tremendous amount of pressure from people that are sticking their 2 cents in everything. I don't know. I mean, the way Bobby Bowden was handled, and I know I'm in Florida and probably ought to keep my mouth shut, but I don't think I think Bobby Bowden deserved better fate than what he got. Now, whether that would be up north or what, I don't know. I don't. We're going through a trend, and we've got a lot of athletic directors that have played football, and they've got to be all things to all people. You know, we're all fired up about our women's volleyball team, which we should be. It's all exciting, you know, and that's a big thing, what has to be done in that area. So, an athletic director today is a little different than it used to be in the old days. And I think he's getting a lot of pressure from different groups. So, I don't think it's a Southern thing. I think it's something that's, well, Oregon. Mike Belay was doing a heck of a good job at Oregon. And he's out, and a kid from New Hampshire played for one of our kids, played for Billy Bowes, who was a captain of our team back in the middle 60s or early 60s, was the head coach of New Hampshire. And the kid at Oregon is a New Hampshire graduate.
Joe, have you ever stopped to talk about count the number of head coaches that you've had on your coaching tree? Now, on 10 years. How many do you think you have?
Well, I always look in the mirror and say, thank God there's still one. I don't know.
50?
All I do is try to, if I can help them, and one thing I think we have done a pretty decent job with is I've given them, you know, I don't second guess them, but, and I think that, you know, you can't get guys to be, I don't know, aggressive maybe is the word I want, to be ready to go out there and have their own personality and the way they coach. You get 9 assistant coaches, every one is a little different, and they all got a little different personality. So I don't know which ones of those are going to go on and be head coaches. I think one of our guys probably would have had a shot at Temple if they wanted. The kid from Florida was up there, he's the head coach at Temple. You know, so I don't know. It's you guys, you know, I have enough trouble just trying to figure out how to make a first down without all that other stuff going on, really.